What up, YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, back in here with one more video. Today joined by a very special guest, Linda. Say what's up.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Listen, Linda, I'm very excited for the discussion that we have here today because I feel like it's one that you can learn from as well as myself. Okay. So we have the video today, Introduction to MGTOW, and this is by the Sandman. This is actually an older video, August 24th, 2014. It's an older video. What I wanted to be able to go through this, and this was suggested to me. Shout out to Shao Kahn, Shoulder Charge. I'm looking at his playlist right now. He put me on his playlist, and I want to be able to, like, not only just to see your reaction to this type of information and see how you feel about it, but then also for me, like, I really kind of don't know what the MGTOW stuff is. I'll be honest with you. Like, I know what the red pill stuff is, but I don't really know the difference between the two. So this will be my introduction as well to try to learn what this type of stuff is. So I feel like it'll be beneficial. Okay. Now, are you familiar with, like, MGTOW? You know,
not at all. Never heard of that. Red pill, none of the above.
Okay, so you have no idea.
No idea what I'm getting into.
All right, so I feel like it'll be a very good discussion. Another thing too I wanted to call out is you're from the South, right? You're from Texas, so we're in the Midwest right now. So you know what I find is that when you get different people from different portions of the country, you get different responses to the same information. Okay. Right? So I want to be able to call that out. So you're seeing a Southern belle right now.
So Texas Bama.
Yeah, there it is. So there it is. All right. So without further ado, you ready to get started?
Yes, let's go.
Anything to say before we get started?
No, I'm just ready to die.
Let's just go. Yeah, she ready to go. You know. All right. So without further ado, let's head right in it.
Hi everyone, Sandman here. I'm getting a number of people asking me to do an introduction video for MGTOW, so here it is. I'm going to cover 25 of the most important video topics that I've covered since I've started my channel. And the first thing to remember about MGTOW is that a man that has taken the metaphorical red pill is a man that has learned the ugly truth about female nature. Women are made out to be harmless, beautiful creatures, but the truth is many women today will rip out your heart and testicles through your wallet and move on to their next victim with absolutely no second thoughts. And they often have no guilt or remorse in the process. So taking the red pill is making yourself aware of how women operate, and you stop being naive about it. With regards to becoming a MGTOW, there are 4 or 5 different levels to MGTOW. The first level is the purple pill man. This is the man that's aware that women use the government, the courts, and men's desires to reproduce to take advantage of men. But the purple pill man believes that the risks of a relationship and marriage are often worth the potential punishment. A level 2 MGTOW believes in dating and short-term relationships, but not marriage, long-term relationships, or cohabitation with women. To him, these often seem very dangerous. A level 3 MGTOW doesn't believe in dating women at all, and limits his interactions with women as much as possible. A level 4 MGTOW tries to limit his interactions with the state and every...
You said something that's...
A level 3 guy is gay.
It's gay.
He doesn't want any interaction with women, period.
I wonder, like, so does that mean, so let's review the levels real quick, because this is my first time hearing this. So a level 1 is they're aware of the game.
And they're willing to take the risk.
They're willing to take the risk to get married. Level 2 is they're willing to date, they do short-term relationships, but they're not focused on getting married at all.
Not the long term. Yeah.
Not the long term. And then the level 3 is like, I don't even date women. I don't have any interactions with women. And then that you say is gay.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with homosexuality, but if you don't want to interact with the female species, then, and you're a male.
Yeah, that's a
what
level.
What other options do you have? I mean, they could be pedophiles, they could like animals, I don't know, but if they don't like women.
Damn, all that.
I'm just saying, what do you...
Yeah, where do you, or you just pay for it. Like, or that.
Oh, okay, so he mean like on the emotional level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, he just said they don't interact
at all.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm like, who do you interact with? Because we're all human.
Yeah.
We have to get ourselves off.
At some point.
At some point.
You know what I mean?
Unless he has a relationship with his hand, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, at any level, you can have a relationship with your hand.
But this is true. This is true.
But regardless, and hearing these three, so I got to hear more information. But I would probably consider myself probably a 2 in a sense that I'm not sold on marriage. I'm not sold that is necessarily the answer. Mm-hmm. I've seen way too many people in and around me that are miserable in marriage, mm-hmm. and too many people around me that have gone through that whole stage and then they said, don't ever do it.
Right.
And it's more that I've seen don't ever do it than are currently happy within it.
Right. I think that's just due to your life experiences. Perception is reality. But for myself, mm-hmm.
growing
up predominantly around single women and things like that, and seeing those successful relationships as well, I do see the benefit of having a male counterpart or something like that inside of your children's life and stuff like that, especially if you want to have a family. Now, if you don't want to have a family, maybe you don't see the benefits of marriage. But if you want to have a family, I see having that male-female dynamic in place, how it could benefit that, as well as financially, obviously.
But can't you have a family without the government getting involved?
I don't know. From the moment you sign that birth certificate, the government is involved.
No, that's actually a great point. Yeah. No, they are involved, but not marriage involved. Like your assets are not tied together. Like your taxes are not treated differently. But here's the thing is that I feel like, and this is through seeing people around me, I feel like a domestic partnership with somebody who, maybe you have a promise ring on your shit, but there's not the government has gotten involved to pair two people together who are together till death do them part. I feel like, you can have children with somebody and mm-hmm. raise them in a very loving home, as well as, as they're loving, caring, and because when you get the government involved, then you have a third party to arbitrate things. You have a third party that usually the woman has the availability to utilize in order to hold a man in a certain position that he doesn't want to be held to after a long period of time.
So you're saying that you don't want to commit to a woman till death do you part, and if you do decide to part, you don't want the woman to be able to take advantage of that situation that the government has put in place.
Yeah, I think it's a component of that, but that might be viewed as me not being able to commit to a situation fully and wholeheartedly, and maybe it's a little bit of a part of that. But again, the data that I have received because people change, situations change,
that's true.
And you live a very long life.
Right.
And I feel like to a degree, marriage was created in a time period where there's not this idea of equality between man and women.
Right.
Where it was created in a time where women were more considered as property. Mm-hmm. That's clearly not 2019.
Correct.
Clearly not 2019. Mm-hmm. Up to the point where wages are the same. Right. Everyone can vote. Everyone has wages, equal say. I would say at the highest ranks of government as well as corporate America, it is still overwhelmingly dominated by men, mm-hmm. But that is slowly starting to change through different movements. But I say that to say I feel like it's an antiquated system, mm-hmm. religion aside.
I was going to say, because from a spiritual point, I don't think the government is marrying. It's more of a holy matrimony for me.
No.
Personally.
Well, you're spiritual.
Right, right. However, I would also see the benefits even from a non-spiritual side to say, well, I grew up with a single mother, and yes, my father was heavily involved, but when I was sick, when I need to go to school, when somebody needs to cook, my mom was predominantly taking on those responsibilities, and had she had someone to share that load with, mm-hmm. I think that she would have been able to be more effective as a parent, and more effective in any other aspect in her life, because there was things that she wanted to do and achieve that she had to basically put on hold, because once you get off work, okay, now you have this second shift, you got to deal with the children. Yep. Versus the father, he would come in weekends, holidays, and that's great. Like I said, my father was really involved, but who's primarily taking on the responsibilities day to day is the guardian, the primary guardian, whether that's male, the woman, or the father. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you share that workload, I feel like you'll both be able to equally impact the child, raise the child, and any other aspect, because I don't know. Honestly, being that I was raised by a single mother, I've noticed even my bond with my mother is way
stronger.
Way stronger.
Yeah.
You know, and I would appreciate to have that with my father, but I mean, it's just not there.
He wasn't there as much
as my mom. Like, you know, who you gonna like appreciate more, the one that took care of you when you were sick, or the one that just made sure they came around when necessary? You know.
You know, and I think you highlight a problem with in a community of people that kind of look like us. But your example is different than mine. Like, it was my pops that raised me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which I know is not the norm. But similar to you, me and my pops is like, you know what I'm saying, that's my ace boom coon, and I don't feel that closeness and bondness and that bond with, like, my mom is what I do with my pops. You know, you see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what you describe, does that need marriage? And that's where I come. It needs it. I
feel like it needs two parents in the same household. Now, if you guys decide not to get married and you decide just to live together forever, to each his own. But I think that for you guys to both equally input into a child, I think that you both need to be there full time, period.
But you think you need marriage in order to be able to do that?
Because I'm spiritual, I will always say yes.
Okay, marriage. So that's your fallback.
And then not even that. I wouldn't say it's my fallback. Let's say something happens to you.
Yeah.
If we're not married and you're in the hospital, who's gonna call that shot on whether I can come into the hospital room if you're in like ICU, or if they say, can we pull the plug? Who's gonna make the decision? It's gonna fall back on your mom or whoever your legal guardian is. And as your wife, I would want to be the one that's responsible for making those decisions. Or as your life partner.
Yeah. So I think, like, I need to get more educated on it, but I'm pretty sure through paperwork you can set up a power of attorney who's someone who is not who you're married to. So I feel like there's paperwork that can be done, and maybe I need to get more educated on exactly what the paperwork
that needs to be done for marriage. Well, not the same, but involved.
But marriage is a whole other package of other shit outside of being able to, you know, pull the plug or not. Like, it's a whole bunch of other things. Like, let's not forget all the other stuff.
So most people, when they go into marriage, they don't go into it like, I need this safeguard just in case it don't work out. I want to be able to pull the plug. That's kind of not the idea that you have when you're entering a marriage. Now, if things don't work out, hopefully you married someone that's mature enough to work with you and not be vindictive or whatever, or abuse the system. But I think that's a person, like an individual type of perspective. I don't think that you can just paint women with that broad brush and say, they all are going to abuse that power.
So I think he was Sandman was about to get into more examples of what that abuse is. So before we assume that, I'm like, what he's gonna say, let's get in there and then we'll react off of it.
Okay.
All right? Are you ready to get back in?
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone else as much as possible too. He's what is referred to as a guy that's ghosting or trying to stay invisible to women and the state. All of this is explained in greater detail in a video marked number 1 below in the description called MGTOW Dating. So once you know where you stand with regards to the spectrum, then you either have a choice to stay away from women entirely or take varying relationship risks. Then you basically can start to gain true situational awareness. This is where you start to identify different types of female behavior and begin to understand what motivates women to act in such ways. One very important thing to remember is that many more women today, in their 20s, than in past generations, are riding the cock carousel. This means they are having no strings attached sex with, in some cases, dozens of men before they decide to settle down with a single guy, if they decide to settle down at all. And I'm linking to my video called The Cock Carousel, which is number 2, down below. From now on, each and every topic that I bring up, I will put a link to it below. And at this point, I'm going to stop mentioning it and let you explore these particular topics on your own and explore the description on your own as well. Women look to settle down with a beta male provider, a blue pill man with little to no understanding about female nature. If he's ignorant about the way women operate, then he's more easily manipulated. A man aware of how women function in society and manipulate men in covert ways are harder to guilt and shame into doing the things that she wants. He knows the game, so he's harder to trick into marriage, protection, and resource extraction. Shame is the name of many women's game, and in this case, it doesn't work. After a woman convinces her beta male blue pill man that marriage is a good idea for him, then she has a child or two which, at some point, allow her to leave that relationship and use those children as a way to get child support from her husband. People wonder why men go their own way, and one of the biggest reasons is that they have been burned by women through the divorce courts and are often paying lifetime alimony as well as child support to their ex-wives. In many cases, the family courts also award the full value of the family home to wives. And the majority of men visiting this YouTube channel are often in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Men that have been taken to the cleaners, so to speak, and have had their eyes opened a little too late. They are here to become MGTOWs because they are shocked at the way women took advantage of them. As well, they're here to understand how women use their beauty and behavior to trick men. Another important thing to remember...
All right, so just real quick, because I think he's about to transition.
Okay.
So I think what he's talking about and alluding to is this idea of female nature, in a sense that a woman wants someone who she can manipulate and trick. And so there's all these connotations. I just want to get your initial reaction to offer that.
I don't think all women are manipulative. I think that that's in their character, the type of woman that she is. If she's a manipulator, that's who she is. And I think that they can be male or female. Now, from my personal perspective, I've dealt with men that are, easy to take advantage of or run over or whatever. And I've also dealt with, alpha male that are really dominant. I'm a dominant female, so I prefer someone that's really dominant. I don't want anybody I can run over, take advantage of, because to me that's a sign of weakness, and I'm just not really a weak person. So I cannot relate to getting with someone just because I feel like I can control or take advantage of them per se. Now, however, what I do see his point of view with saying like, women do have that advantage and that leg up, especially if they get to a point of a divorce where the courts are kind of working in their favor. However, I feel like that's from a perspective of, okay, the woman has decided to take on that guardianship role. So yeah, she should be allotted those benefits, because if you're gonna go into this world as a single person now, and now I have to look after 2 or 3 children, I think I may need that extra help as if you were still in the home. But on the other end of that, I feel like that's just because we don't have a lot of men stepping up, not like your father. Like you said, your father was a rare case, but saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to take on that responsibility. I haven't seen it, so I don't know how it works when a man does. So maybe you can educate me on that. Well,
let me, so you said a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. I think what you just described is a very logical answer. I think what happens in these situations is, and I've seen this happen. I got some of my best friends who, they got someone pregnant, and then the woman uses the court system as a way to
you become irrational because you're really emotional. So I get why you're saying mine is logical, but if I was in it,
if you
would
was
I
in
react the same way?
And there's a lot of when you're caught up in a situation or relationship where she may still like you, and maybe for the dude it was there wasn't that much emotion there. So, but she, would try to use the children or like as
and that
leverage.
Happens a lot. I've seen it too.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's actually experiencing that right now, where the woman is like basically weaponizing the child.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the system does allow for that to happen. But I don't think that that's at the fault of women. I think that's something that we need to look at the system and see, okay, where can we put some more controls in place to make sure that women are not able to take advantage of these things. But at the end of the day, I feel like men need to take some of that onus and say, okay, who am I having a child with?
No, it's true.
You can't just put that all on her, because you probably knew she was crazy before you had unprotected sex. And if you didn't want to marry her, you probably shouldn't have been having a child with her, in my opinion.
Well, that goes down to the beta male stuff that they talk about. Like, there's dudes out there that like drama, right? They like a woman to be like weirdly aggressive. Like like you describe it as dominant. I don't think that that's weirdly aggressive. I just think that when there's a decision to go out to eat, if the man's not making it, you're gonna make it for him, and if you made it for him, you probably get less attracted to him.
No, I'm indecisive, so that wouldn't be me.
So you don't make that decision.
I'm one of those people that's like, I don't, and like I said, I'm more attracted to dominant guys that can make decisions, that can enforce themselves, because I'm such a strong woman. I need somebody that I feel like can handle me, and if I can run over to you, you just become really unattractive to me. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah. So like talk about that handle me thing, because I think that especially in the black community, we are at ends. Black men are at ends with black women because of this whole handle me, and the manipulation. It's a sickness that goes really deep. Like I even remember, like I don't see it that much on social media right now, but there's women that will shame black women that will shame black men because they have a child and think that like, because a black man doesn't want to date a woman with a black child, that they are weak, right? Like, so like there's different things about a black woman saying, well, I'm too strong for him. So like, can you get into like what that means for you? Yeah, for me, so I wouldn't say I'm a strong person. I wouldn't say I'm a strong woman. I'm just a strong person in general. Right? So I feel like a weak-minded person, whether that's male, even with my friends that I choose, my female friends that I hang with, I like for them to be opinionated and expressive and for us to agree to disagree. I don't want anybody that I can kind of run over and tell what to do and those type of things. So that's what I mean, somebody that just don't have a backbone, somebody that you can pretty much control like a puppet. That's what I mean when I say I don't like people like that. Now, as far as a strong man that's able to, maybe I use the wrong words when I say handle or control me, because I don't feel like I'm overly aggressive or anything like that, but just someone that can, like I said, voice themselves, to have an opinion and don't linger on to my every word. Somebody that's an individual and, you know, respects me, but also holds themselves to a high regard. You know, I don't feel like, some people feel like black women are not submissive and those type of things, but if you're a weak man, nobody's gonna submit to you, honestly. Or if you're a weak woman, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's you bring up so many damn good points, because I feel like I hear what you're saying, but there's some black women who are unwilling to submit. Like absolutely. And I feel like that goes to that trauma and things that we've dealt with in our history and stuff like that. Well, they feel like, you know, especially too, like if you grew up in a single parent home and it was like you just and your mama and you see the strength in your mom, you know what I'm saying? So then you take that upon yourself and you're like, well, I gotta be equally as strong as well. And I want a male that can match that. Or it's higher than that, you know what I'm saying? Higher is preferred. And you want to be a rib to that strength. Yes. You see what I'm saying? For sure. But I think that but I don't want to lead or carry or feel like I have to make the decisions. You know, I want a man that can lead. So, but at the same time, there are women out there, and let's not act like that we don't know them. We see them all over Instagram that will absolutely take advantage of, and you see it not even just on Instagram, like, and let me not be specific to like I social think that's media, immature, honestly. But like, you know, you look at Hugh Hef, you know, R.I.P. to one of the original OGs. You look at Hugh Hef. There's no reason that all these, you know, blonde bombshells should be taking advantage of him, washing his 90-year-old sack. You see what I'm saying? But he has to take responsibility for himself. But is it a taking advantage of, or is it an exchange? Yes. It's an exchange because he couldn't get them normally. Right, exactly. And I feel like the type of energy that you put out is what returns to you. So if he presented himself as someone that wanted somebody that's not taking advantage of him, he would have gotten somebody that truly loved and genuinely cared for him, but he put himself out there to be this sugar daddy. Yeah, but see, but here's the thing: like, why do that? You know, and grow old with somebody if you can have 10 other women that look like the blonde bombshells that he was with around him at any given time. Because like, I'd rather have someone that genuinely cares for me than someone that's trying to take advantage of me. So I guess it's more emotional for me. It's not really about the sex. Like, we all want to have great sex, but I would rather have someone that genuinely loves me, is going to be there when I'm sick, and not just there for me to write a check. You know? Okay. And someone I can ultimately build a family with, have a legacy with, because how many of these women are helping him become a better man by investing in business with him and making a partnership? They're just take, and are not actually investing anything into him. So I like to have people that are going to deposit and invest things into me, because if you're not helping me, then you're hurting me. You're taking away. Well, I think like he's reached a level of financial independence where he don't even need that. I mean, so maybe if I was at a different level, I'll see it differently. Yeah, and then you just have people bring you over grapes and butt naked, just like shooting grapes out. You know, I'm not gonna get graphic. Yeah, to each his own. I think that's to each his own, because if you don't. But getting back to the video though, introduction to MGTOW, men go their own way. Yeah. And he said that a lot of people that come and find these videos are ones who have hit that point of no return. And then they figured out like, oh shit, I've been rused. You know, I had this idea of women specifically, but it sounds like we've kind of both agreed, and I've said this in prior videos, it's a human thing. You know, like humans that are given too much power will, you know, and there's no like checks and balances. That's why like the government has a 3-party system. Yeah. If you give the executive branch way more power than the judicial branch, so what have you, like, you know, you start to see an imbalance, you know what I'm saying? So like, and that's just politically, when you're dealing with relationships and human emotion and like understanding what makes people tick, it goes way deeper and farther than that. And I feel like young dudes having access to information like that, which is the antithesis of what we're taught. Like we're taught to put you on a pedestal, but what you say is like, nah, I want you to have your own pedestal.
Yeah, we need to both be equally yoked. I'm gonna put you on a pedestal, and you can put me on a pedestal as well. I feel like we need to uplift each other. So that's why I don't like how he's trying to paint this as all women. I guess that's why I disagree. He sounds like a man that is scorned, and he needs to let that hurt go. Honestly, because just like if you meet a woman and she has a lot of baggage and she treats you like the things that she's been through in her past instead of approaching you like you're your own individual, then you have a lot of baggage that's not really attractive. So I feel like he just hasn't had great experiences, and unfortunately perception is reality for him, and I just hope that he meets a woman that can change his perspective and someone that is genuine. But you know,
let me ask you a question. Well, let me address something real quick. So the whole scorn thing, like, if you look at hold up though. If you look at a stove that's lit and you're a child, right? And you looking at that stove, you like, damn, that flame looks cool as shit. Like, I want to see what I want to, like, where it turns blue and then it turns yellow. Like, oh my god, it looks so cool. And then you put your hand on that bitch and then you get burnt. Yeah. So at the point that you get burnt, you learned something about that stove. You did. Don't touch or like interact with it with a very specific way. Yeah. I think that's more what's happening here. It's like there's a degree of, you might call it scorn, maybe it's burnt, you know, maybe it's a situation that happened and then you learn from it, but it's like a learning experience. Yeah. But then they push up information to learn about, to help other people that are thinking about this very long-term decision of marriage or this long-term decision of having a kid with someone, right? And think about it from a different lens. Perspective. As opposed to what the culture pushes down. And when the culture pushes it down,
like it's happily ever after.
It's you're not a man until you find a woman.
Or you're not woman enough until you find a man. I feel like it goes both ways.
Yeah, that's true. There's way more pressure, y'all, especially the biological pressure as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
and then honestly, I can't speak for all women, but I would, in my opinion, I think why women prefer to be married, and why I feel like men should also prefer, because who wants somebody that's sleeping with everybody? That's at-risk behavior. Like you said, Hugh Hefner, he has 50 women bringing him grapes. I couldn't be one of those 50 women because I don't want to share you. That's risky.
Well, but here's the problem. You look at any NBA groupie, and they don't give a shit.
Exactly. But you say you want to have a child with this person and you want to build with this person, but you willing to share him with everybody else. Like I said, that's at-risk behavior, and I just rather not indulge, you know.
Yeah, but talk about the build. Like what is the build? Because I think through this, and I think through, you know, if you look at the dynamic, and now we have evening gender roles. Yeah. Right. So then, what is the benefit of
2 heads are better than one? Even when you go into 2 incomes are better than one. Like, yes, you can make $100,000 on your own, but if I'm making $100,000 too, that's $200,000. We can get where we're going a lot faster if it's 2 of us working together. I feel like that's the point of humanity. That's why we need each other, and we're all interlinked and interconnected. Because yes, you can do it on your own, but just imagine the benefit of having a partner doing it with you.
I think hypothetically, I think that makes a lot of sense. But
and whether you're talking about business or family or
throughout your entire life, how many best friends that you've had that you've kept throughout the years?
All of them. So my bestie, we've been, our mothers were best friends, and we pretty much stepped out the vagina together.
Got it. And you've been best friends throughout the entire time.
Forever. That's my girl.
Okay.
And all of my other friends I've acquired, like I haven't besides the friends that I picked up here when I moved, I haven't really, like my friends, I've been knowing them since middle school.
Okay.
My inner circle, I've been knowing them since
So you
middle
can
school.
hold and maintain
Right, and I think that's commitment issues. A little scared of commitment a little bit. But
I mean, you know, I think it could be a commitment thing, but it also could be, you know, just a protection thing as well. Like a protection and security thing as well.
Right, and I feel like if you think about it from the long term, but I feel like that depends on your view and your perspective on life, because I'm a really optimistic person. I don't really go into things thinking, oh, this may not work, and if it doesn't work, this is the bad things that can happen. You know, I kind of think I want it to work, you know, and I'm gonna do everything I can to make it work. But then if it does not work, I would hope that I'm mature enough to handle that situation and not take advantage of the powers that may be. So
got it. So you don't agree with the some of the things that he's saying in this video.
I don't agree with his perspective, but I do think he has valid points.
But if you don't agree with his perspective, but he has valid points, so what about you don't agree with his points so far? Or should I keep on playing the video?
Yeah, let's play. Let's keep playing.
All right, let's keep playing.
Yeah.
Is that women age like milk while men age like wine. And I'm putting a link to a video called
Let's talk about that.
Let's
talk about that real quick, because that's also referred to as the wall. And I agree with this.
I low-key kind of do, and I just don't want to admit it because I'm a woman.
So you had a feelings reaction just then, but after you thought about it, which the logical side of your brain, you're like, oh shit, yeah. Because if you look over social media and y'all go through, there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? To do your hair a certain way, do your makeup a certain way. I mean, you guys can be walking of things just made up, like your nails, how tall you are, the makeup, like it is very aesthetic focused.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Meanwhile, dudes can get older. Makeup is not a part of our culture in America. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not like we don't judge our dudes, like we don't by like aesthetically what they look like. You know what I'm saying? I'm not friends with certain dudes because they look a certain way. Like but women, yet you guys can surround yourself with the baddies. You know what I'm saying? And like right. So like. But as we age, you know, we start to get like the little salt, pepper, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then also too, if you're looking for an alpha, a dude who's been leading for 30 years, regardless of his saltpeter or whatever you want to call it, like his resume, his leadership resume is way more fortified.
It's still attractive. Versus a woman.
And he's more financially, you know, as opposed to a woman.
Where it's all aesthetics, and then when you get older, of course, those things. Yeah, beauty fades. It does. So you
agree, but see, you got an initial reaction.
Milk and wine, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of beautiful older women for their age. You know, like I've seen a lot of older male, handsome gentlemen, but I have to kind of sort of agree. But I think everybody ages, you know, male or female. But because women are not beating our faces and doing our hair, we don't look as popping as we do in our younger years. So
yeah,
and I just feel like because dudes just have to maintain a fade, it's kind of like not a drastic change. But you know, I think that's just good genes and melanin.
and your melanin definitely helps, but at the same time, we're still playing in the same game. Yeah. Like we're still in the same. We are still. It's still a battle.
Well, no, hold on, because when I look at my grandparents, her husband is like big and uncomfortable, and my grandma still goes running, and she looking good. So
you think when she's running, she's out here?
I'm like her body and stuff, and you know.
So he fell off, but then
he fell off.
But that's what I'm. But
and
you're
my
actually
grandma is keeping herself up.
Yeah, but you're validating what we just were talking about.
What?
So for her, it doesn't matter that he's.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, I don't think that he should be allowing himself to fall off. Like, but at the same time, like, she's keeping up that old traditional, like, you know what I mean?
Because when she step out.
She killing it? She killing the game?
Yeah.
Now, do you
That's
think
where I get my style from.
But when she goes out, you think that she's looking for validation from other people?
No, I think that she gets that within, and she makes her. For her to feel good, she likes to look good. Okay. So if she's not looking good, like even for myself, when I go out looking good, it's not for people to say, "Oh, girl, you look cute." It's for me to say, "Girl, you own it today."
Okay, so it's like an internal validation as opposed to an external.
Yeah, you look good, you feel good.
But that's not front though. It also feels good when someone walks up to you and they like, damn.
Yeah, of course it feels good. You know, Aisha Curry told y'all that. Of course it feels good to have people to look at you.
You sure you want to bring up Aisha Curry?
Yeah, we should have did one on that video.
Oh, we goddamn should have done one. I do not like at all.
I disagree with that though, honestly. I disagree with that. Yeah.
Just gotta grow up.
Yeah.
All right. All right. You want? Let's keep going. Let's keep going.